Welcome back to part 14 of the My DCEU story. We will be adding on more and more to the different Earths that has been introduced to be in the multiverse. In this part, we'll be going back to Earths 4 through 6. To start this part off, we'll be doing a Dead Man movie that will take place on Earth 4. The movie starts with a gymnast named Boston Brand. Brand lives his life as a total flirt. However, none of the people that he flirts with is given the chance to be in a relationship with him since he continues to ghost them. He is doing a performance after having a one-night stand the night before. During the performance, he sees that his friend Darius Caldera is running towards him, and it looks like he is trying to tell him something. However, Brand ignores him because he thinks they can just talk to Caldera when he is done with his stunt. Brand jumps to perform his stunt. However, in the middle of it, he is shot in the chest while he is in midair. Darius runs up to Brand, and he starts to give him CPR, and multiple other people call 911 to get Brand some help. Brand wakes up in an ambulance alone, and he does not remember what has happened to him. He gets out of the ambulance and tries to find someone to figure out what has happened to him. He sees a group of doctors, however, they don't register that he has walked up to them. He gets confused and does everything he can to get their attention. Nothing seems to work, which causes him to give up. He leaves the hospital and tries to get anyone that he sees attention. He heads over to see Darius. He walks over to Darius and he sees that there is something wrong with him. He then sees that Darius is reading an obituary with Brand's name in it. This causes Brand to do anything that he can to prove to Darius that he is still alive. This includes screaming in his face to punching him. Once he punches Darius, he realizes that anyone he touches can feel him, they just cannot see or hear him. With this realization, he realizes that he is, in fact, dead. He is shocked and sad all at once at the beginning. However, he starts to realize that he can get away with anything that he wants to do. This leads to him to do tricks on a lot of people just to figure them out. Brandon is about to do something that would get him arrested if people could actually see him. However, before he can do it, he hears a voice yell at him that they have had enough of what he's been doing. Brandon doesn't know where the voice is coming from. Then there is a bright light blinding Brandon. When Brandon is able to open his eyes, he sees a beautiful woman. He goes up to flirt with her, but she slaps him across the area. The girl says that none of his flirtations attempts will work on her, since she is a supernatural being. Brandon says that she didn't give him much information, and what she did say didn't make any sense, since there is only one higher power. She said that it is true that there is one higher power that is called by many different names, and he makes a decision that keeps the earth spinning. However, he can't be everywhere at all times, so he has beings like her who work underneath him. Brand asks her who she is and what her job is. She says that her name is Rama Kushna. She explains that her responsibility is to make sure that the spirits from Earth arrive to where they need to go after death, whether that be the good place or the bad place. However, it has become recently apparent to her that something has arrived into existence, something with the power that she hasn't felt since Lucifer was banished from the good place. That's the reason why she brought Boston to the place between the good and bad places. She needs him to get three things so she can make a weapon to protect the good place, the middle place, and the bad place. Boston asks why she chose him. She explains that Boston made good and bad decisions in his life. Those decisions caused him to be close to getting to the good place, but the bad decisions got him close to getting to the bad place at the same time. So if he gives her the three things that she needs, she'll allow him to go to the good place. She says that she'll tell him where the first two things are, and then the two things will lead him to the third thing. Brand leaves with this information, but someone in a black cloak puts something on Brand's back without him knowing. Brand gets through the first two things, which contains a piece of hair from a chimpanzee that looks like Sherlock Holmes and the tip of a wand from a retired magician. As soon as he leaves with the wand, a flyer on the wall starts glowing with a bright color that gives Brand's attention. The light shines on the number 3, and it shows a group that is based in Antarctica. He leaves for Antarctica, however, when he leaves, the poster erupts in flames, and when it quits burning, it shows a picture of a red being with horns on its head. In Antarctica, Brand finds a group of assassins. Since he is dead, he is able to sneak past them. He gets to the center of their fortress. He then sees 3 beams of light glowing on a sword. Brand goes to grab the sword. However, he hears a conversation in an adjacent room. He walks into the room and sees Darius talking to another member of the assassins. Darius says that he doesn't want to be a part of the assassins anymore, since he found out that it was the person who he is talking to, Hook, who killed Boston. He explains that he killed Boston because Boston slept with his wife the night before. This conversation makes Boston realize that who Darius is talking to is the leader of the assassins, and he his killer. Bran also then becomes angry at Darius for being a part of the group. After Bran hears the conversation, he wants revenge for his death and for the betrayal from his friend. So he goes back to get the sword. As soon as he does, an alarm starts to go off. All the assassins run to the area, but they quickly get freaked out with this floating sword. Boston is slowly starting to revert back to who he was when he was alive. After having his fun, he starts killing all the assassins and just leaving Darius and Hook alive. Bran walks over to Darius and slashes the inside of his thigh open on both of his legs. He then takes down a shocked Hook. Bran then toils with Hook as he plays with Boston for his life. As Darius hopefully watches Hook die right before his eyes, Darius then passes out. And to send Darius a message, Boston carves something into the ground. As soon as he's done, Boston gets surrounded by darkness and gets sucked back into the place that he met Kushner. However, he sees someone else holding Kushner's head in one of their hands. Before Bran can stop them, they make Kushner's head explode. Bran charges at the being. However, they catch him by the throat. They tell Bran that he is foolish to think that he can harm him. Boston asks him what he is and what he wants. They explain that their name is Pantheon, and he is the disciple of the devil known as Lucifer Morningstar. Just like Rama Kushner was a disciple of the one above all. She tried to save the world from their wrath by using this weapon. However, she was too late, and now no one can use the weapon since Bran brought it to them. Now he will send Bran back to the earth, so he can be alone as he waits for them to destroy the planet. Bran says that he will fail. Pantheon laughs and just says, no he won't, and throws Bran away. Then the movie ends with Bran waking up on Earth alone. The first post-credit scene is Darius waking up, crawling over to what Bran has carved in the ground, and as he reads it, he starts to realize that it was Bran who did it. The second post-credit scene is the person in the black cloak approaching someone else, and that someone else says that if he succeeded, they can save the world from Andrew Bennett. The cloaked figure says that he did so, Morgan. The second movie of this part is the Kate Kane Batwoman movie, and it takes place on Earth 5. The movie starts on the 12th birthday of two twin sisters named Beth and Kate. Their parents, Jacob and Gabrielle Kane, are in the military. The family was planning on celebrating the girl's birthday. However, Jacob was called away from the family for work. This separates the family for the rest of the day. In the middle of working, Jacob gets a phone call saying that Gabrielle and the twin sisters have been kidnapped. Jacob quickly puts a task force together to save them. However, they are too late. It is revealed that Gabrielle and Beth have been killed right in front of Kate, and Jacob has saved Kate just in time. As soon as Jacob gets Kate out of the way, he orders the task force to gas the whole room, killing the kidnappers. In the years that follow the kidnapping, Kate and Jacob's relationship is getting worse as they are becoming more distant. The relationship gets to the point that Jacob sends Kate away to live with a family friend named Julia Pennyworth while he's away with the military. Kate gets upset at Julia because she feels like Julia is trying to become the mother figure that Kate has lost. This thought is what makes Kate follow in her father's footsteps by joining the military. Kate's time in the military was very short-lived. This is because Kate met a woman named Sophie. Sophie was the woman that made Kate realize that she was a lesbian. Before this, she thought she was confused with her sexuality, and at the most she would be bi. Kate and Sophie try their best to hide their relationship so that Sophie can stay in the military. However, Kate comes out as a lesbian as soon as the rumors start and leaves the military. When she gets back home, she gets told by her father that her cousin, Bruce Wayne's old house, was attacked. Jacob tells Kate that he would check it out and he will call her later. However, he doesn't want her nor Julia to go to the house. Even with the warnings from her father, Kate goes to the house anyway. When she gets there, she sees that her father and the rest of the police haven't gotten there yet. She starts to look around, and she finds someone on the ground asking for help. She walks over to see a person who is barely alive, holding a dead body. Kate realizes that the dead body is Julia's father, Alfred Pennyworth. She asks the other person what happened to the house. They explain that they were walking around the house when they found several hats lying on the ground. Before they knew it, all the hats started to explode at once. Then they say that their name is John Blake, and he knew Bruce's secret before he died in that helicopter explosion. Blake tells Kate that Bruce's secret is underneath the manor, and to get to it, you have to hit the notes B-A-T on the piano. He then says that there isn't much left of it since Alfred tried to destroy it after Bruce died. However, there is enough still down there for anyone who has Wayne in their blood to figure out what the secret is. He asks Kate to do one thing before he dies. He wants her to find his son named Cam Drake and protect him from the crazy world that they live in. He says that he had Tim change his last name so people wouldn't know that he was related to a police officer. Blake then relaxes his body and dies in the arms of Kate. Hold on, okay. Before we go any further, let me pause and talk to you guys. If you remember the last time I wrote a story for Earth 5, you remember that I mentioned that there was a surprise that I was keeping to myself about it. You probably have put the pieces together by now, but let me confirm it. Earth 5 is the same Earth that had the Christian Bale Dark Knight movies on it, but it takes place 20 years in the future. So, John Blake is played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Alfred Pennyworth is played by the great Michael Caine. So, with that being confirmed, let's now unpause and get back to the story. Kate goes over to the piano and presses the notes that opens a hidden door in the wall. She goes down the stairs that leads to the Batcave. There isn't a lot of left after Alfred trying to destroy it. However, Kate does find a black costume lying on the ground in the destruction. Kate picks it up and realizes that it is the Batman suit. This makes her realize that Bruce was, in fact, the Batman. This is when she hears police sirens from her father's officers. She takes the suit, closes up the wall, and leaves before she is seen. She gets to the apartment that she bought when she first got to Gotham. She looks at the suit as she tries to figure out what to do with it. She thinks about what Blake told her about his son and her experiences in the military. This makes her angry with how the world had been in the past 20 years since her cousin died. The anger gives Kate the courage to fight for the people who have been treated harshly by the world around them. She puts a black ski mask over her head and she goes out to protect the city. After the first night of protecting the city, Kate starts to head back to her apartment. On the way there, she hears a scream coming from the direction of Julia's house. Kate runs in that direction to see that someone is trying to break into the house. Kate stops the burglar and makes them flee. Kate then checks on Julia. Julia asks who she is. Kate says that Julia knows who she is and that Kate unmasks for Julia. Julia asks her what she thinks she is doing. Kate explains that Bruce was Batman and that she is trying to follow in his footsteps by being Batwoman. Julia says that if Kate wants to be associated with Batman, then she should keep the Bat symbol. However, that shouldn't be the only symbol that she should have. She needs to have a symbol that shows the people of Gotham that their protector is a woman. This causes the two of them to work together to make Kate's comic book accurate suit. When they are finished, they hear another explosion from across the city. Kate heads that way and sees the person who made the explosion. Kate chases after the person and takes them down. Kate asks who they are. The person stands up and says that they are known as Catman. Kate asks him why he's blowing up all the buildings in Gotham. He says that he was supposed to be someone in Gotham as he was born into a rich and powerful family like the Waynes, the Thorns, and the Canes. However, once his younger brother was born, his parents gave his brother John everything that he was promised to him. That upbringing allowed John to become a cop and for him to become a criminal. This makes Kate realize that Catman's brother is the same John that died at Wayne Manor. This makes Kate ask him what his last name is, which Catman says is Blake. Kate tells Catman that he killed his own brother. Catman asks Kate why she thinks he didn't know that his brother was going to be in that house that night. Kate says that John isn't at fault for the way that Catman was raised. Catman says that John might not have started the treatment, but he definitely didn't try to stop him when he was old enough to do so. Catman says that John wasn't the only one who didn't try to stop the treatment. It was all of Gotham, and all of Gotham needs to pay for his upbringing. Kate says that if he continues to go after Gotham, she will have to stop him. This starts the fight between the two. Kate wins the fight by managing to keep Catman down. Kate tells Catman that his father's actions towards him should not define the kind of person that he will be. She tells him that she had an absent father since she was 12, that even though those actions gave her another form of family, she wishes that she had a better relationship with her father. She then tells Catman that he needs to find his own form of family that he can still have. She then tells him about Tim and that he can help her find his nephew. Catman agrees that they need to work together to find Tim. However, before they do that, they need to take out his boss because he's planning on destroying all of Gotham. Catman leads Kate to his headquarters, and it's revealed that his boss is Jarvis Tetch, a.k.a. Mad Hatter. Catman tries to trick Mad Hatter into thinking that he is still on the Hatter's side. However, Mad Hatter sees right through the act and pushes Catman back by exploding one of his hats. With Catman and Kate pushed back a little bit, Mad Hatter says that he knew that there would be a chance that Catman would betray him at some point. That is why he decided to kidnap this kid. Hatter then lowers the cage from the ceiling with the boy inside. The Mad Hatter says that the kid is named Tim Drake, who is also a nephew of Catman. Catman charges at the cage, but before he can get there, a group of Mad Hatter's henchmen gets in front of the cage. He says that this is some of the members of his Heartsmen, and they are ruled by the one and only person who has his heart, his sweet, sweet Alice. He then tells Kate that she will meet his Alice very soon because she is very interested in the Batwoman, And to get your attention, Batwoman, she will kill and destroy everyone and everything in Gotham to get that attention. Well, it's either that or have everyone be controlled as her Heartsman. Kate says that isn't going to happen, and she runs towards her. However, she is stopped by some of his Heartsmen, and the Hatter gets out of the way of the fight. This starts the final fight of the movie. In the middle of a fight between Kate and Catman versus the Heartsman, with the Mad Hatter watching it from above from a catwalk. Kate throws the batarang, knocking the Mad Hatter off the catwalk. On the way down, he catches the cage that Tim is in and brings it down with him. Kate instructs Catman that he should take Tim out of there. After they are both gone, Kate takes out all the Heartsmen and corners the Mad Hatter. He starts to laugh and says that she fell for Alice's trap. He then points out all the cameras in the building. He says that Alice has been watching Batwoman since the beginning, and she will come through the looking glass very soon to meet her. That's when the police arrive and arrest the Mad Hatter and all the Heartsmen. The movie ends with Catman and Tim lighting the bat signal for the first time in 20 years. Kate sees the signal and meets them there. She asks them who this is for. They explain that it is for her because they wanted to talk to her. That's when Catman takes his headpiece off and says that it is time for them to have a proper introduction. He says that his name is Thomas and that she already knows Tim. Tim thanks her for saving him. Kate. Both Thomas and Kate get surprised that Tim knows that she is Batwoman. He explains that he always known that Bruce was Batman because it was very ironic that Batman and Bruce both died at the exact same time. Then when he saw Kate, he knew that it was her because A, she was Bruce's cousin, B, she arrived in Gotham at the same time that Batwoman did, and C, her very pale white skin gave it away. Tim tells her that it is okay because both hers and his uncle's secrets are safe with them. That's when they hear a crowd on the street yelling something. Kate looks out at the crowd, and she hears the name Batman. However, Julia is with them and says, that isn't Batman, that's a woman. So then Julia starts a new chant with the name Batwoman. That ends the movie. The post-credit scene is a blonde woman looking at the crowd in front of Batwoman. She whispers to herself, go ahead and enjoy the spotlight, sister. Soon you'll have to share the spotlight with your dear sister again. The final movie of this part is a Booster Gold Earth 6 movie. The movie starts with a high school football game. We focus on a football player whose name is Michael Carter. Michael is about to score a touchdown, however he trips and falls before he can score. This fall makes it where his team loses the game. His teammates pick him up and try to make him feel better by telling him that they will score the next chance he gets. This is up until one of his teammates catches Michael taking money from an outside source. The teammate questions Michael about it because they are about to tell the coach that Michael is taking money to lose the games on purpose. Michael says that they don't need to do that because if they do, then Michael won't be able to get the money to his mother who is very, very sick. The teammate says that they are all living in the 25th century. So he tells Michael that there are a lot of ways that he can get the money and do it legally. Michael says that it's impossible for him because his family has nothing to give them in return for the money. The teammate says that he won't tell the coach if Michael promises to stop it after this time. Michael doesn't keep his promise and continues to intentionally throw the games on purpose. He doesn't get caught at first until this kind of betting turns into an obsession with gambling. The money that he earns with the gambling allows his mother to get the treatment that he needs to get better. However, with the gambling addiction that Michael has become accustomed to, it leads to him to owe money to the government. This leads to him being arrested. Him being arrested breaks his mother's heart because his father left the family due to his own addiction to gambling. While in jail, he reads old newspapers and magazines, learning about the heroes from the 21st century, heroes like Blue Beetle and Captain Atom. This leads to him getting a job as a security officer once he gets out of jail. At the museum that he was working at, it has artifacts and stories about those same heroes. This leads him to be inspired to be a hero like them. This makes Michael steal an old prototype suit that one of the old heroes had. On his way out of the museum, he hears one of the robots that works at the gym ask him to take him with them. The robot says that they are very smart and they can give Michael advice. They then say that their name is Skeet. Michael agrees to take Skeet with them. Michael realizes that there isn't a lot of crimes being committed that he can stop. This makes him start the crimes himself and then stop the crimes by acting like he is in fact the hero. After one of the crimes, Michael gets interviewed by a news station. They ask him what his superhero name is, and he looks at the suit that he's wearing and sees a gold star on it. He is about to say that his name is Gold Star, but he thinks about his football days and the nickname that his teammates had for him, which was Booster, so he says that his name is Booster Gold. The news interview gets him on the superhero team's radar, whose name is the Legion of Superheroes. The Legion approach Booster to question about what his plans are. They say that they know who he is and what he has done in the past. Booster explains that he knows what he did in the past was wrong. However, he knows that he has changed and he wants to be better if the Legion gives him a chance. However, they don't give him their classic Legion ring or membership. Even though he is not a Legion member, he still tries to help the Legion defeat the villains. This doesn't sit well with the members of the Legion because Booster could hurt himself and the other people around him. It gets so bad that the Legion has to use a transportation device on Booster that makes him go to a jail cell in the Legion's hideout. Every time that transform him there, they let him out after the fight has ended. On the last time, however, Skeet manages to unlock the door so Booster can leave. Before he leaves and comes across a time machine that the Legion has. He uses it because he thinks to himself that he can make himself a hero before the Legion are around to stop him by hanging out with the heroes that he saw in the museum. So the movie ends with Booster and Skeet taking the Legion's time machine and going back to 21st century like we saw at the end of the Blue Beetle movie. The post-credit scene for this movie is that we see Booster's father getting arrested for gambling again. However, he sees Booster on the TV and he goes looking for his son. Thank you for watching part 14. Please like, comment, and subscribe.